will be near. He's a black American preacher, you know. I said that, you know, and Leonard Howe will hear him. All right. Later on, the history book says Marcus Garvey said it. They credit Marcus Garvey with those words. But it's not Marcus Garvey said it. He was just repeating what he had heard from the black American preacher. Look to Africa. So you see, Harlem, you know, at that time, you know, listen to me, man. Talk about intellects, talk about high intellect, talk about spiritual people who are high intellectually, is Harlem, you know. Yeah. And the proof is there. Because the one who led the delegation to go and consult with the Ethiopian government in exile was the pastor of a very prestigious Black American church. And he was highly intellectual. As a matter of fact, Adam Clayton Powell, the great congressman, Reverend Adam Clayton Powell Jr., he is on record as describing the preacher who went for the Constitution, right? And I wouldn't even want to misquote him because I don't have the quote in front of me, so I'm not going to even try and remember. I will just kind of paraphrase what he was saying. He was saying that the brother had the heart of an angel and the hand of a militant, yeah, and the intellect of a scientist. It's like he was describing all aspects of human life, meaning physical, spiritual, and let us say mental. So he is saying that this brother is gifted with all those gifts abundantly. You know, this is Adam Clayton Powell talking about that man, you know. So you know, because that man is not famous. Most black people don't know him. But he should be famous because of what he did. He went to England, consulted with the Ethiopian government in exile, and then was given the responsibility to come to Harlem and establish a democratic constitution for the black race, a document that is still way ahead of its time. We are in the 21st century and our people still have not caught up to that move yet. That move was established in 1937. How many years is that? 37 to 100 is what? 63. And then 21 to 63 is what? 84. So we are 84 years away from when this was done. And our people, for the most part, know nothing about it. Yet, we say we are poor. We say we are deprived, which is true. But we have been liberated. We have been given the gift of economic and social liberation. But if we don't know anything about it, what good is it? It's like not having a bank account, fully loaded bank account, but don't know anything about it. Ain't that something? We have a bank account in our name, fully loaded with money, more money than we will ever need. We don't know anything about it. Consequently, we live and search the garbage every day for food. Imagine rich people searching the garbage for food because they do not know that they are rich. That is really amazing, you know. So that's what's happening with us.
Look,
we have the gifts of liberation, but we're not aware of it. Yes, my brother, go ahead.
Yeah, man, give thanks. Look, Harriet Tubman said, I could have freed more people if they knew they were slaves.
I want bad girl, that, you know.
Imagine.
She not easy, man, you know. I want to tell you something. The women and them, listen to me now, brothers, don't get offended when I say this, because I am a gender defender. Listen to me carefully. In this time, the black woman is demonstrating warrior queen qualities more than the black man is exhibiting warrior king. Yeah. Somehow or another, the black woman is able to pick up on what we're talking about very quickly, and we want to advance the reasoning intelligently. while our black brothers sit in silence. I don't know what the hell they are thinking about, but they really very rarely respond in a way that continue the reasoning. They always want to change the subject when the woman wants to say, it is sacrilegious to change the subject. Woman, I have been on a conference call like that. Listen to what happened. I am on a conference call with some young Rastas. So they invited me now to come and talk to them. So I decided I was going to read the letter of support from the Aroma government for the program that we have presented. That was what I decided to do. I'm going to just read that letter. All right. So when they invited me to speak, I read the letter. It's a very short letter. Yeah, one page, just few sentences, not a long letter. But basically, paraphrasing, the letter said, we, the Aroma government, is in full support of the project the Ethiopian World Federation has presented. We would like them to go and do what they can to come back and sit at the table to do the feasibility study as soon as possible, right? That's basically what I said. All right. So after me read the letter now, remember some young Rasta, after me read the letter, a daughter, a woman said, wow, this is what we have to deal with. It would be sacrilegious if we don't. That was her comment. Silence. Here comes the man them now. Change the subject. Don't mention nothing about what she said. Don't mention nothing about what the letter said. Change the subject back to what them have on the agenda. And then now they now ignore it. Well, I'm going to tell you something. I'm on the work for a while and I've been noticing things. And I'm telling you this straight up. The black woman is more ready for this message than the black man. Yeah. All right. I think that's enough for the time being. I might get my brothers aggravated. But it's the truth. Many times in history, we black men shirk for our responsibility, and the black woman have to step to the front and say, listen, man, if you don't know how to do it, never get that woman them and go defend it, And no white guy now come in, come take over our thing.
Hey,
right?
Rob.
Yeah,
Rob,
sir.
I agree. I don't know anybody more revolutionary than my mother. I don't know any man more revolutionary than my mother. Let me tell you how revolutionary she was. There's 7 of us, siblings. The last 3 of us.
For attending the New African Network TV talk show this morning, Saturday, 21. Today we have a very extraordinary on Pennycook. He is the former president of the Ethiopian World Federation, which is an organization that was sponsored over 80 years ago by the Emperor Selassie, Haile Selassie, and a covenant that was created by African Americans and Caribbean brothers and sisters, specifically brothers who went over to fight in the Ethiopian wars in the early historical days. Brother Pennycook, we welcome you to the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll get into more dialogue about the Shashamane project in which you have informed us about. Go ahead, brother. I yield the mic.
Okay, my brother, give thanks for the invitation. It's always good to be with my family, and it's my pleasure to really share the information that I have with you, right? About myself. Judge Theodore Jones, a Supreme Court judge in the County of Kings, New York. And some people say, where is that? The County of Kings? That's what is euphemistically called Brooklyn. But officially, it's not called Brooklyn. It's called the County of Kings. All right. So the Supreme Court in that county, Justice Theodore Jones, upon certifying us as the executive board to represent the Black race, said these words to us: do not let me regret doing this. That's what the judge said to us. Do not let me regret doing this. Doing what? Certifying the 10 individuals in front of him to represent the Black race at the highest levels of government. And this is the Supreme Court of the County of Kings in the state of New York talking. Okay, I had the privilege to be the chairman on that board. And if memory serves me correct, Russell Lula was on that board, Yeah. All right. But I had the privilege of being the chairman on that board. So who am I? Okay. I was born in Kingston, Jamaica, to Christian parents, had a very good childhood, didn't know that I was poor. I had so much fun playing with my friends and things like that. I didn't know I was poor. Anyway, when I was 15 years old, after attending a Christian high school in Jamaica called Kingston College, it's an Anglican high school created by the church way back when. All right, so that's the school I attended. And at 15 years old, my parents migrated to the United States and they brought me with them. I have 2 brothers and a sister by my mother and my father. Recently, my younger brother, I'm the oldest, and then the one who followed me, Mikey, he passed recently in Jamaica from COVID. And if I think about it, I might break down because I'm still not over that, my younger brother. Yeah. So we came to the United States when I was 15 years old. And then now I started to attend high school. In high school, the teacher, I think it was social studies, said to us, life started from a big bang. And that was kind of the first time I was being exposed to this kind of philosophy. So when he said life started from a big bang, I said to him, where did the bang come from? And the teacher said to me, are you a wise guy? I said it started from a big bang. Don't ask me nothing. I went home and said to my mother, Mama, if this is the way the teacher going to talk to me, I can't go back to school. That's not for me. How can he be telling me I cannot ask him a question? He's going to tell me now that life start from a big bang, and I'm going to ask him where the bang come from, and he's going to say, I must shut up. So anyway, that started me now dropping out of high school. And I finally dropped all the way out of high school. And that means now the only alternative to high school is the street. So I am euphemistically referred to as a street N-word. You know what is a street N-word? Right, that's who I am. All right. So I made my bread in the street. I have nothing to be ashamed of either. Trust me when I tell you, everything is now legal. And the people lining up to make money is the people who used to persecute us.
Yeah, that's for sure, brother. That is for sure.
Right? So I have nothing to be ashamed of. Trust me when I tell you. So anyway, that's how I did it. And then I was successful now in getting married to a beautiful woman who we have been together now 50 years. This year is our 50-year anniversary. 50, you know. And we have 3.
Congratulations. Congratulations, brother.
We have, God blessed us with 3 children. The 4th pregnancy almost killed her. And the doctor said that we must have no more because she has a rare blood type, that it is a miracle how she had 3 without complication. And the 4th one almost killed her. So the doctor said no more. So we stop at 3. All right. So my wife and 3 children, they are all highly educated with them college degree, highly successful in their personal life. All of them own their own house, have them own economic structure, very successful, my wife and each of our 3 children. I am the high school dropout amongst them, and I don't mind. So, right, so that's my family, right? So I now come to New York, and then I was exposed now to Harlem culture, which I love. Every time I go to Harlem, I feel so at home, different from anywhere else in the world. Harlem is that special to me, right? So in Harlem now, I start to learn about my Ethiopian culture, that there's an Ethiopian church in the Bronx, and that we should go there because His Majesty sent the church for us Black people. He has now connected to that church. There's a Bible with 81 books in it, as opposed to the 66 books in the King James Version, the Ethiopian Bible, which is said to be the oldest version of the Bible in the world. All right. But if it is not the oldest, it is one of the oldest. All right. So this myth that Christianity is a white man religion, it has to be totally debunked. If you read the book tells you that Christ have woolly hair and Christ have skin like bronze burn. The book tells you that. So you can say that is a white man. Are you crazy? You're not reading the book. You're listening to what other people say. That's not how you read a book. You got to read it for yourself. Otherwise, you cannot say you read it. All right. So basically, my love for blackness, Black people, from I'm a little boy, I love my people. And I do not like how they've been abused by the system, because in Jamaica, discrimination is there same way. So I was paying attention to all that from I'm a little boy, and I don't like that. I want to help my people. So when I come now and I find out about Ethiopia, oh Lord, I was so relieved that we have this place that has never been conquered, and we have this place that preserves our glory and our history. And if we connect ourselves to that, we will be liberated. That all is in my youth, I understand them things there, So when I go to the church now, I find out now that there is another organization that comes from His Majesty named the Ethiopian World Federation. I say, what? Okay, I got to join that too. So right away, I go and I join the organization. And then now, I'm a youth, I don't know anything yet, All right, so when I join the organization now, within a week or two, them stop keep meeting in the church. No one is saying anything about the federation anymore. Even the members, them now, when you ask them, so what's happening with the federation? Well, we kind of take a break. We're not doing anything right now, which was a lie. They had moved it to a secret location where only selected ones were told about it, and the rest of us were kept in the dark. I was one of those who was kept in the dark. That was like in the 1970s, 1973, 1974, somewhere around there that this happened. I would never heard anything about the Federation anymore. And then in 1992, Rastafarians around the world were celebrating the 100th anniversary of His Imperial Majesty's birth on Earth this time, 100 years in 1992. So one of the celebrations in New York was that the students at Brooklyn College, who were Ethiopian in their culture, two of them, one named the Empress, who is the leader, Empress Medupi is her name. And she originated from Haiti, the first country to liberate itself, the only country to liberate itself from slavery. So Haiti is a special country, all right? So that's where she's from, all right? So it's not surprising that she would organize something like this at Brooklyn College because she was a student there. She collaborated with another Black American Rastafarian, which is a rare commodity. You don't find too many Black Americans who are Rastafarians at that time. More today, but at that time less. So she found one at the college. His name, Ayadonis Tafari. So the two of them, Empress Medupi and Ayadonis Tafari, combined their organizations, student organizations at Brooklyn College. She had an organization named the Women's Action Movement, and he had an organization called the Lion of Judah Society. So the two of them now combined and had an event at Brooklyn College to celebrate the centenary of His Majesty by inviting a member of the Ethiopian World Federation who lived in Ethiopia to come to Brooklyn College and give us an update as to what is going on with the organization. All right. Now, I became a member in 1973, 74, But I don't know nothing about this organization because the people who had it were lodgemen. And they had a principle of operating it as a secret society, where only their chosen few would be allowed to know anything about it. And the vast majority of our people must be kept in the dark. I experienced it. I joined the organization. because I'm a member of the church. And then now when they recognize that a Rasta man has joined the organization, they move it and carry it back secret so the Rasta man don't know where it is. And that's how I lose track of it. So what, nearly 20 years later now, nearly 20 years later, here comes the Federation to Brooklyn College. And the brother who came brought with him the Constitution. Now, I joined the Federation in 73, 74, and I never knew that we had a Constitution. The secret society don't tell you about it. They keep that a secret. So you as a member, you join, you don't even know that you have a Constitution. Because I didn't know. It's in 92 I find out that we have a Constitution. When the Rastaman from Ethiopia coming to New York to tell us about the Federation, brought the Constitution with him and said to us, join a line and come and give me $1 and each one can take a Constitution. He had them printed out them time, they had them stacked up on the table. So we just join the line and come up with $1 and get it. So I got the Constitution for the first time at Brooklyn College, 1992, at a conference organized by the students for the community where you are welcome to come and hear. So that's how I was welcomed here. I'm not a student at Brooklyn College. I'm just a member of the community. But they are having a community town hall meeting and we are invited. So I went. And trust me when I tell you, I was like a kid in a candy store. Because I know the importance of a constitution. Most of our people don't. I know that. But I did. How did I know? I was in the Rasta movement and I recognized that in meetings there was a lot of confusion and things and not sure how to do things. So then now I, as a member of the church, was exposed to a constitution in the church for the male members. In other words, in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, you have a constitution for the male members and you have a constitution for the female members. This is the first time knowing about these kind of things, showing you how Ethiopia is a civilized country. All right. So what that did now was, as a male member of the church, I was exposed to the Constitution. I have a copy of it. So when I'm reading it now, I recognize that this is what we need in the Rasta movement. So I took it home and I started to make changes in it to reflect the Rasta movement. That's what I was working on when I went to Brooklyn College and found the Constitution that comes from the King of Kings. So once I found that Constitution from the King of Kings, I don't know what happened to the notes I was taking. I don't know. That means I turned my back on that issue because I know I cannot compare myself to the King of Kings. So just put aside that. He has now sent you a constitution for all Black people. What more do you need? I was like a kid in a candy store because I know the importance of that document before I got it. I knew the importance of it. I was working on one for the Rasta movement. Yeah, when I got it. And don't ask me what happened to that one for the Rasta movement. I never even look back on it again. I don't know what I did with it, but I can't find it. I don't know what. It don't exist no more. It just disappeared. Because now we have what we need. And that was the Constitution. All right. 1992 at Brooklyn College. So when we got the Constitution now, we hired a lawyer to find out what's going on with the organization. And the lawyer found out that it was dormant. And that's what the lodgemen did to it. They tried to dissolve it, but they couldn't dissolve it. And we have proof of that by going to the Supreme Court in Manhattan, not in the County of Kings, in Manhattan. And there's a document there. We don't have it in our hands presently, but we would like to get it, where members of the Federation went and filed a document with the court called dissolution of corporation, meaning you want to dissolve the corporation. It's done every day. You can set up a corporation and later on you decide, so you're going to dissolve it. So you go to the court and you file the document saying dissolve this corporation, and it is done. All right. So that's what they tried to do to the Ethiopian World Federation, these lodgemen I'm talking about. So when they went to the court, they were told by the court that this corporation has a word in it called perpetual. And because of that genius move by the originators of it, none of us wayward members can dissolve it. The most we can do is put it down and hope that the future generation never find out about it. Because if they find out about it, it will always be good to go. It's a perpetual corporation. Now remember, it's the Supreme Court talking to Black people, who come to them to dissolve it. Okay? So the large men is not our friend, they are our adversary in this regard. Because large is something that come from Ethiopia a long time, but we're not going to go into that. We're just talking about this lodge that is really responsible to the Queen of England, because all of these lodges, when they go through them order and go up the high order, then wind up at the Queen of England. All of them, yeah. None of them wind up in Ethiopia. All right. So they can talk all them want. I know what I'm talking from experience. So they tried to dissolve the corporation and they failed. So they did the next best thing, run it off the books, make it become dormant. And then now that's where it was now when we found out about it. So we were told now by the Ethiopian government that we need to revitalize the headquarters, otherwise the land grant will not be able to be dealt with, because the land grant belongs to the headquarters of the Ethiopian World Federation in Harlem. And if the headquarters is not functioning, then the land grant will disappear. That's what we were told.
Ross, you press mute on your phone.
Yeah, your mic is went off for a short second there, brother.
Okay,
Brother
all
Ross,
right.
Brother Pennycook, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You know, with the Constitution that the Ethiopian World Federation has put into place, and of course,
Go ahead.
and how do the people of Ethiopia relate to the actual Constitution? It's many tribes in Ethiopia, and over the course of the century, there have been many wars based on land rights by the indigenous people there. How would this relate to African Americans, which may be considered far looking to move in as a part of that Constitution? Has there been any type of rebuttal by the locals or the indigenous people about that situation?
The Ethiopian government, one of their first requests to us after we succeeded in revitalizing the headquarters and have the Supreme Court certify our election, which is what I was telling you about when the judge said to us, don't let me regret certifying, because I recognize that is some street niggers in front of me. And I don't really know what kind of street niggers is, if our principle or not. So I'm going to take a chance and say that is the ones with principle and certify, but don't let me regret it. All right? That's what the judge said. All right? So in that regard, now, when we certified and went to the Ethiopian government to satisfy them that the headquarters was now revitalized, the first request they made to us was this: translate your constitution into the Amharic language and have it presented to us on such and such a date, which we did. And then now we said to our office in Ethiopia, translate it into the Oromo language, Oromifa, and share it with our Oromo brothers and sisters. Our stubborn people in Ethiopia, I don't know if they have done that yet. So we have a lot of things to resolve, because our people have some foolish ideas coming from West and the white man culture that don't belong in Africa. This hatred and separatism is not part of our culture. We respect each other as a creation of the universe, and we are all related. We know that. So,
brother, that has definitely questions that many of our brothers and sisters have been having in the African diaspora as we are looking at getting ourselves reacclimated on the continent. We certainly don't want to infringe on brothers and sisters on the continent who may be going through some political strife to own land themselves. And of course,
stick up in. Pardon the interruption. You just hit up on a very important point that I have to say this. Now, my brother, it is coming into crystal clarity what is the purpose of the diaspora. Now, you just identified it. Let me explain it now. Our responsibility as a diaspora is to be the vanguard, the spearhead for the movement to get rid of poverty in Africa. It is our responsibility to do that, not the Africans at home, because they are well divided amongst themselves into 55 nations. Some don't deal with each other, some at war with each other, some all kind of things going on, even inside the state. They have ethnic groups at war with each other. So Africa is in a mess. I'm telling you, it's in a mess. And it's we, the black peoples of the world, is going to save the continent. Would you believe me? I hope them up on the line right now, meaning my brothers and sisters from the continent, because I don't want this to be something them here behind our back. We want it to be an open discussion so we can participate in it. It is the diaspora's responsibility to save the continent and by extension, the world from annihilation, the world from World War III that will destroy the world. It is our responsibility to prevent that catastrophe. Yeah. The diaspora. So the question becomes then, how can we eliminate poverty in Africa? That's the question. And the answer from the King of Kings is this. I will give each family 10 hectares. Use 1 hectare for your house and garden. Decide what you want to do with the other 9. Thank you very much, King of Kings. You have done now solved our problem. We will never have poverty in a place like that. Every family have their own house and garden and 1 hectare of land. That's 2.5 acres. That's more than enough land to feed the family. You will have surplus to put into the commercial market or feeding the children at school. Many things to do with that surplus I'm talking about. So that's how you do it. It's a simple thing. It's not difficult. It's not, you don't have to build a university and then thing there to achieve it, because those things will never achieve it more than bring more pollution on the earth. They're going to create these inventions with side effects. That's what the science teach them. So that's what they practice. They don't know anything different, you know, cause and effect and all of that. And they don't know the effect until years later. All right. So basically, what we are saying is that we, the diaspora, have been instructed by our foreparents from Harlem, guided by their sovereign leader from Africa, to present to the Ethiopian government a 21st century plan for our land that is to benefit all concerned, those at home and those abroad. So that's what we have. That same ragtag executive council that was presented to the Supreme Court, and the judge did not know about us other than what was reported to him, which was not very favorable. He took a chance on us. Well, listen to this. A couple of years afterwards, it was 2000, yeah, by 2002, a couple of years afterwards, we took a report. As a matter of fact, we didn't even take the report. We were preparing the report at our meeting, our regular weekly meeting, when all of a sudden, the court officer that we know from the court come to our meeting, come into the meeting and come through the door. So we were shocked. What is the court officer doing here? So when we asked him, what is the pleasure of his company? He said to us, the judge sent me 2 years after certification, you know, the judge sent me. He want to know what you're doing, because from him certify, you know, he don't hear anything about, you know, and he is very concerned about, you know. So here we know to the court officer. Court officer, you see that package on the desk? Go and take it up. And he went over to the desk, take up the package. So who is it addressed to? Judge Jones. Okay. So the report that the judge is requesting, we are already preparing it. We're on the same page. So tell the judge that within a couple of days, he will get that report, because we are preparing it right now. And the court officer was able to go back and tell the judge, say, yeah, man, them did that prepare it in before them see me. And them have it on the desk and everything. So by a couple days' time, them are going to bring it come here. All right. So when we carry the report and give it to the judge, you know when the man said to it, y'all have accomplished all of this without a budget? I can just imagine what you could do if you had a budget. And that the judge said, no. So that means that he was not at all disappointed that he certified us. He was totally justified in certifying us because he recognized that we have accomplished quite a bit of work without a budget. And that's not easy. So without a budget and you did all of this, I can just imagine what you can accomplish if you had a budget. All right. So when we took the second report to our loving judge, a Black American, you know, yeah, man, Judge Theodore Jones, famous in New York too. Yeah. When we carried the second report to our judge, we got this tragic news that he had passed away recently at his home. And boy, I know we're still sad because I think he was younger than me. Yeah. I'm not sure, but I think so. And so he died. Yeah. By the time we prepared the second report and took it to his office in the court, we were told by the court officer that he died recently. All right. So he died never being regretting that he's certified us. So that's a good thing. He always knew that he did the right thing because he didn't know who was in front of him. Yeah, we are the ones with principle for true. Yeah, and you can't tell by looking. You will have to know by doing. So we have demonstrated that we are the ones who have principle, integrity, and will work for our people without pay. We have demonstrated it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, man. Yeah, you know. So I'm going to take a little pause and see if you have any more questions. Because the question was if the Ethiopians know about the Constitution. Yeah, man, they want it in their language so that they can share it with the people. Because you see, that Constitution belongs to every Black person, including those in the bush. Anywhere them is, they must get it. What they do with it is up to them. They have a right. Okay? Mm-hmm. But it is our responsibility to share it with every Black person on the planet. So every language that Black people speak in India, we're full of Black people. We look forward to the day when we're going to translate it into the different Indian language where the people speak and share it with them that belong to them. And then each government in the United Nations has endorsed it. The Ethiopian World Federation is a member of the United Nations Economic and Social Council that has to review everything you do and then now come up and say, yes, you are accepted, no, you are rejected. And after they reviewed everything, they say, yes, you are accepted, so that the Constitution of the Ethiopian World Federation has been endorsed by every government in the world. It's a powerful document, my brother. And the fact that it has land rights for each family attached to it, it's a very rich document. Because what that is telling us, you know, is that the source of our economy, the Black economy, is not capitalism. It's not communism. It is all about sharing the land, not selling and buying land. That is our economy. Once we share the land, every family will automatically become rich because the land is the source of your richness. So once you then as a family have land, you are now rich. So we in Africa is going to show the world how the new economy works. Buying and selling of land is outlawed. Land must be shared equally among the citizens. So we have the opportunity to demonstrate the model in Ethiopia, because the laws in Ethiopia are favorable to everything we have said so far. No buying and selling of land. So that is the model that we are working on to demonstrate to the continent what they need to do to liberate themselves from under this colonial yoke. And what they need to do not require a gun. It requires the pen, which is mightier than the sword. Follow Ethiopia's example. Ethiopia was full of landlords, rich landlord who ran all the land and the peasants had nothing. That was the situation in Ethiopia. But they came to a point where they went to the Congress and or the Parliament, and they decided that they're going to have what is called Land Reform Act. It's a law, Land Reform Act. And in that Land Reform Act in Ethiopia, they said no buying and selling of land. That is now proscribed, illegal. Land now belongs to the citizens, 25 acres per family. no more. All right. So Ethiopia now has embraced the laws to protect the model that we as a diaspora is using to demonstrate to Africa our benefit to the continent, and then now we will be able to come in and transform the continent within 10 years to exactly what is needed in the continent for it to take its rightful place in the nation of the world, shoulder to shoulder, and then now benefit the people by liberating them from poverty. So we will be now the most advanced continent on the planet in the twinkling of an eye. Yes, I would love to hear questions.
Yes, for sure, brother. You know, I've actually reviewed some of the information that you had sent over to us earlier this week, and we also want to thank you for coming on the New Black Panther radio talk show Thursday night business broadcast. And there were a lot of people who listened to what you had to say about the Constitution. Can you tell us a little bit about the land of Shashamani? How many acres does that consist of? And also, tell us a little bit about how far is the project have gone on since it's been created. A little bit about the modern day perception so that people can get a better feel of what Shashamani consists of today in today's time.
Oh, okay. The land grant was issued to us in 1948. It is 500 acres, but in Ethiopia they call it gasha, 5 gasha. A gasha is 100 acre, 40 hectares, 1 gasha. So the official document says that the Federation was granted 5 gashas of land with an improviso that stated more lands are available when this is utilized. That was 1948. Now the lodgemen who was running the Federation, they didn't do anything about it. They didn't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
They neglected it. So that from 48 until 68, that's 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
A delegation went to Ethiopia to find out about the land grant and approach the Ethiopian government in this manner. They had organized themselves as a branch of the Ethiopian World Federation. They had held their election and elected their president. They had chosen their president to go to Ethiopia to visit the government, and they had prepared a letter for the president to present to the Ethiopian government. Now I'm telling you about some poor people, people who themselves can't read and write, did all of that, organize themselves as a member of the Ethiopian World Federation, Charter 43 in Kingston, Jamaica, and then now send a delegation of 10 families from Jamaica. These poor people I'm telling you about, with the reputation of cannot read and write, but don't ask if they're not intelligent. All right. So they now, in 1968, start to make arrangement to send a delegation to Ethiopia. So in 69, they were able to do that. That 10 family delegation came to New York, and then 2 Black American families joined those 10 families from Jamaica. So that the record books in Ethiopia says 12 families from the diaspora came to settle the land. 10 from Jamaica, 2 from America, Black people. All right. Their names are there and everything. Right. Mm-hmm. Now it's funny, 12, right? In the Bible, we know about the 12 apostles, the 12 disciples. Jesus had 12. And then now you hear about Joseph, son who will become Israel, and then he had 12 sons. So in the Bible, that number 12 is very significant. So this now is a 12-member delegation going to settle the land, and they were not even aware of their 12, No, so it's innocently, they went there, and then now only to fulfill some very magical things, because it's 12 of them go to represent us. All right. because their credentials were totally in order, the Ethiopian government chose to settle the land grant in their name and told them, go to work on the land grant. All right? So that was 1970 that that document was signed. Now, the Ethiopian government has just put Rasta in charge of the land that belonged to Harlem. I want you to understand what happened. It was given to Harlem, but Harlem neglected it for 20 years, didn't do anything with it for 20 years. So here comes some Jamaican now going into Ethiopia to find out about the land. They didn't have any intention of settling nothing. They don't know nothing about that. They just go in there now to find out if it is true and if the government will give them permission to come and resettle. That's what they did. We hear that there is land, Your Majesty, so we would like to confirm that it is so. And if it is so, we are going to ask your permission to come home and settle on the land. Now, that's a beautiful presentation, totally respectful. So His Majesty settled the land in their name. So now the land grant is now settled officially, because the headquarters has never sent a delegation to come and settle it with me. They have never done that, never even thanked me for it. You know, 20 odd years later, is doing that for the first time, so I will settle it in your name. And he settled the land grant in Rasta name. And that's when the headquarters went crazy, when they found out. And they tried to dissolve the corporation.
What were some of those names?
Some of whose names?
The 12 that settled
the 12? The two Americans were named Reverend Hillman and Gladstone Robinson. Those were the two American families.
Yeah, Brother Robinson.
Yes.
He was a pharmacist from Harlem.
Yes.
Or Brooklyn. A pharmacist. He was one of the first black pharmacists.
In Ethiopia.
In Ethiopia. From
yes.
From Brooklyn or Harlem, one of those places, right?
Staten Island. He was in Staten Island for a while, but he's a New Yorker.
Yeah.
I think he's from Texas originally. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, pharmacist. Yep.
Yeah. And then Reverend Hillman is the other black American. Reverend Hillman. And he's in the history books. You can find a lot of history about him in Sheshimani. Very good history. Yeah. He used to welcome all black people and treat them with respect, which is not everyone who got here was doing that. So he was very special in that regard, Reverend Hillman, you know? Yeah, man. And then the 10 Jamaican them now, I don't remember all of them names, but they are Brown, Brissett, Wolf, Clark. You know, they are there. I have the document, I can send it to you. And then you will see them name. But I don't really remember all of them names right now. But it's 12 of them. And they settled it. And then when the headquarters found out that His Majesty had, because you see, there's a little thing going on in the Federation from day one, you know. When the Federation reached Jamaica in 1938, 1 year after it started in Harlem, it reached Jamaica in 1938. And then now, that is when the Rasta movement was in its infancy. So what happened now, it caused a controversy in the organization right away, where those Christians in the organization did not like Rastafarians. They called us blasphemers because we are calling this little man from Ethiopia Christ, and that is blasphemy. So they don't want anything to do with us. So that controversy started in the Federation in Jamaica right away. Eventually, we were pushed out of the Federation, Rastafarians were pushed out of the Federation under the threat of calling police if you come to meeting, under that kind of threat. We don't want you in the meeting. And if you come to meeting, we're going to call the police. All right? So under that kind of... under that kind of animosity, the Rastafarians of the day turn them back on the Federation and start to say things like feather light, feather, you know, like a bird feather, it light. So them say, oh, feather light, Federation, I idiot business, feather light. No, I'm not to do with feather. All right? So when His Majesty become aware of that now, you know what he do? He send a charter with Mamie Richardson from Ethiopia, you know, to Jamaica, you know, bypassing the headquarters, you know. And
now, who is Mamie Richardson?
The black American superstar woman. Yeah, man. She was the international organizer at the time. Yeah.
All right.
But she was a Black American superstar, woman who was a superstar. Yeah, that was her credentials. So when she go around the world, Black people turn out by the thousands because them know her. Yeah. So she bring the charter from His Majesty, not New York, from Ethiopia. Here what the charter say. The Ethiopian World Federation, Rastafari Local number 37. You see His Majesty I bring we in? Remember now, you know, Black people run me out of the Federation. I said them no have nothing to do with you know. And when him find out, he realize the error. So him send a charter for we. That means that nobody can stop we now. He must send a charter for we. When the headquarters find out about that, they brought up Mary Richardson on charges and tried to punish her for it. How dare you carry that to Jamaica? Don't you know we don't want those people in the organization? How dare you do that? And she said, well, His Majesty was the one who instructed me, and His Majesty's wish is my command. So I don't have to ask you nothing. The Majesty tell me what to do and I do it. Do what I have to do. I do what I have to do. And I saw that go. It caused an animosity between the headquarters and Mimi because she did it. All right. Later on now, when him second land grant in Rasta name, is the second time now him bring we, you know. The first time him do the Constitution and the Charter and say, go do nothing. And the second time, him bring we in, him say, I'm going to put the owner in charge of the in charge of the land because only know the importance of it. But when you not qualify, you know, me know that, you know, but you know, I have so much love in our own that me will give you it because the love I want me to conquer. All right. So that's how we get it. So when the headquarters here now, so we get the land, that's when them try and mash it up. Them try to dissolve it because them say them can't deal with His Majesty because him is curry favoring with these blasphemers, these people who say Him is God. All of a sudden, Him do things to them like Him believe them. I tell you, this is a beautiful story. Trust me when we tell you. So, yeah, man. So,
Hold on, brother. While you get your thoughts together, I want to say a couple of things that I heard you say, but you didn't say it the way I'm about to say it. So, you know, for Black Americans, for Blacks in the West and the diaspora, you know, sometimes, a lot of times, you will hear Black people in the West say, well, I don't know my history. I don't know my culture. I don't know my nationality. You know, I don't know where my ancestors came from. You know, we've been through the transatlantic slave trade and we lost all of that. It sounds like what His Majesty Haile Selassie did was he nullified that talk by presenting the Constitution and the land to the Black peoples of the West, of the world. You know, whereas though Black people don't have to say that anymore. I don't know my nationality. I don't know where I came from. That type of thing. Because what did you said he did? He gave us a constitution. We the Black peoples of the world, right? Is the preamble. He gave us a constitution. And then on top of that, he gave us land rights. And then you said he sent, I think I heard you say he sent the church.
He did.
So all of this stuff right here, all of those things that he did, what that does is it gives us land, it gives us a government, it gives us a nationality, it gives us all of that we no longer can say we don't know our nationality or where we're from. You understand? Or what language?
Exactly.
Because let me tell you something, Brother Yohani, he brainchild of the New African Network and Africa United Business. One thing he teaches is that to be an African, a few things identify a person as an African. And if I remember correctly, one is an African must have a land that they came from in Africa. So the Zulus have KwaZulu Natal. The Tigrinyas have Tigrinya. The Oromos have Oromia. The Ibu have their land, right? All right.
Yes,
So
yes,
being African, you must have an identifying land. Then you must have a language, right?
yes.
So you have a land, you have language, and a few other things that identify you as an African, right?
Culture.
Right. So when you travel to South Africa, you'll meet white people who were born there, Afrikaners. They'll say to a black person, "Welcome to my country." But you can actually ask them, "Well, where's your land? If this is your country?" They will have to say it's Dutch or Holland or wherever the hell they came from. They cannot identify a land in Africa that is traditionally, um, indigenously theirs. So they are automatically eliminated from being an African. But I remember I was speaking to a brother from Zimbabwe, and I was sharing with him all of this information that you just shared to us, and that my nationality is Ethiopian. And he said to me very snidely, "Well, where's your land?" I said, "Brother, thanks for asking that question. My land is Shashimani." So he had to immediately shut up because I just eliminated his whatever he had in his mind, that no, this brother's not Ethiopian. This brother is from somewhere else. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what His
Powerful.
Majesty
Of
did.
course, I understand what you're saying. What you're
I know
saying
you
is so
understand.
powerful, my brother, that black
I,
people would never understand what you're saying. Trust me.
oh my gosh. I mean, it's really deep, right? So
Deep.
yeah. I mean, and it's so simple. It's it's deep.
So simple. Listen
It's
how
like
simple
Bob
it is,
Marley used to
Rasarura.
say. It's like Bob Marley
Listen.
used to say, heavy
Mhm.
like light as a feather, but heavy as lead.
All right. Listen
How
to this
deep
now,
is
my
that?
brother. Recently, I was on a forum with my brethren who I love very much, very intelligent, intellectual from Nigeria. And I asked him the question, why did black Americans choose to call we the black peoples of the world Ethiopian? You hear the question?
Mm.
Why did black Americans choose to call we the black peoples of the world Ethiopian? They know about the word African. Why didn't they choose the word African? That's a legitimate discussion because our foreparents is not here with us today. We can only say what we think them they did, why they did it.
Let me say something before you continue, because a question just popped up from a Raz Nimba. Do black people, what does the question say here? Do we have a divine heritage in Shashimani? Okay, I believe what you're about to speak on will answer that question about a divine heritage. Why was it chosen to be called Ethiopian and not African Federation or Negro Federation or something other than Ethiopian? So, Ross Number, you may be going to get an answer right here. Go ahead, Ross
Oh,
Penny Cook.
okay.
Your
Now,
thoughts now. Why was it called Ethiopian?
the preamble, right? Let me just recite the preamble. We, the black peoples of the world, in order to effect unity, solidarity, liberty, freedom, and self-determination to secure justice and maintain the integrity of Ethiopia, which is our divine heritage, do hereby
Ross
establish
Number,
and
you hear
ordain
that?
this constitution. All right. So the black Americans is telling us that, listen, black people, you have a divine heritage in Ethiopia. Now, what does divine heritage mean? Divine mean not
It
bad.
means it's from
Heritage
God.
means
It's
gift.
from God. It's from God. Divine
Exactly.
heritage means it's from God. We've
And
never read Nigeria in the Bible. Okay, the Bible is God's book. We never read Trinidadian or Jamaican or American or Englishman in the Bible, but all throughout the Bible, from Genesis, all throughout the Bible, when it's referring to what they call Africa or Africans, the word Ethiopian is used interchangeably with Kush, right? Yeah, it's the same place. right? So we know that Ethiopia is a divine heritage from the Bible. It's our divine nationality, right? Even the Bible says, can an Ethiopian change the color of his skin? Or can the leopard change his spots? That's a question that was asked in the Bible, right? All right.
Listen,
So anywhere you go, a black man is the divine nationality of Ethiopia. All everything else is colonialism. Everything else is slavery,
powerful words, my brother.
right?
Powerful words.
The Jamaican flag is slavery. The American flag is slavery, colonialism. The Union Jack, slavery, colonialism. You know why we have the lion in the flag? One of the elders taught me this in Jerusalem schoolroom. We call Jerusalem schoolroom Shashimani. If you are in Shashimani and you sit with the elders, I remember I went to Shashimani years ago, and I would literally sit at the feet of Solomon Wolf. I believe you called his name as one of the signers for the land. And
Yes.
Solomon Wolf and Brother Moody, they teach me one night why in the Ethiopian flag, the red is on the bottom. Because some brothers who don't want to submit to the will, they want to put the red up. They want to call themselves Ethiopians and wear the red up with some crazy reasoning. But the Bible says, King Solomon taught us, do not lean on your own understanding. And that's what they want to do. They want to lean on their own understanding and put the red up, turn the flag around. But Solomon Wolf taught me in Jerusalem schoolroom in Shashimani why the red is down and why the lion is walking in it. Well, we all know in the black man's flag, the red symbolizes blood. And the lion is walking in blood. And blood symbolizes death. The death, but the Ethiopian flag is a Christian flag. You see the lion in the flag is carrying a cross. That's a Christian symbol, the cross of Christ. And the blood is from death. And it shows that the Lion of Judah conquered death. So death is under feet because we know Christ rose on the third day. He was crucified on Friday, but on the first day, on Sunday, when they went there, Mary, you talked about the revolutionary women. Mary was the two Marys was the first revolutionary women to proclaim that Christ has risen. Mary did that. When they went to the tomb on the third day, they saw that the tomb was open and Christ had risen. So Christ conquered death through his resurrection. And that's why the lion walking in the red in the Ethiopian flag. The blood is down on the ground because death is under feet.
Now, this
Jerusalem
discussion now that we started by asking the question, why did Black Americans choose to call Black people Ethiopian? That's the question, you know. And I'm telling you that is gonna
And
have
we're
to be a
talking about the
serious
divine.
discussion, especially amongst our brothers and sisters in Africa who have embraced Nigerian, South African, Zimbabwean,
Colonialism.
and all of these names that they reject the name Ethiopia, telling us that Ethiopian would mean that they are inferior and they don't see themselves as inferior, so they will reject the Ethiopian brand. That's a real thing, you know. So just like we are being reminded by the 90% indigenous and 10% diaspora, it is designed that way so that we, the 10%, will be forced to assimilate into the 90% and become our true selves again. These are concerns that the scientists and the governments know, you know, and they are still struggling how to resolve this issue because it is clear that Black people in the West and Black people in Africa are on two different levels. If we don't admit that, we don't even ready to do the work. So once you realize that, your job is going to become humble yourself and become your brothers and sisters helper. That's who we are, the diaspora. We are coming to Africa to help our brothers and sisters achieve their desire for perfect development in their community. We have to understand what it is. We are not going there as no boss to tell the people nothing. No, we are going there as helpers who will be instructed by the people what they would like to see happen. So that is on the putting food on the table level. But the other level, which is the living together in harmony, these issues has to be resolved because we have to decide if there is one world for Black people all around the world other than Black people. Because Black people don't really tell you history. There's no country named Black country. So what is the name of the race? And until we as a race agree on the name to be called, there is still division among us. So our Black American geniuses, they have put together the package perfectly. They have stated it perfectly. We are Ethiopians who have a divine heritage in Ethiopia. You know what divine heritage means? Gift from God, you know.
And we have all of the documents. We have all of, whether it be constitutionally, whether it be biblically, whether it be historically, or as my sister Carol up there in Brooklyn Bayou would say, any kind of colleague, any kind of colleague.
Yeah. But
Biblically, historic. Would you say, brother?
Yeah, yeah, I was just thinking, certainly it's been some very challenging times, and especially with African people worldwide dismantling the chains on the brain or chains on the mind of perception that we are a dysfunctional people. With that being said, Christianity had been around and in Africa more than 1,000 years before the Europeans had even arrived. So the ideology and the doctrine that we have learned from having those brain chains was misleading to us. And now that we have where both religion itself it derived from out of the pyramids of Egypt, even way before Christianity was called, Islam was called Islam. We had to the Most High, and with that, prior to invasion of the Arabs and the invasion of the Europeans coming into Africa, was one. Although there were many tribes itself shared a traditional of upholding the land itself and to keeping out the land itself into good spirit. We were a very spiritual people, and a lot of this had been lost throughout the centuries of being enslaved, hated about ourselves as African people. We're going to be pushing along here because we have about 15 minutes left in the program today, and we'd like to move on to another topic. We've been actually discussing efforts and people in the African diaspora can become more engaged with the support of the disenfranchised, not only here in America, but also in Africa. And so we, as the New African Network, along with many of the other Black grassroots organizations, have been looking at ways to support disenfranchised children, women, and the elderly on the continent. So we'd like to get into a little bit of dialogue about that. And we have been directly engaged with a couple of nonprofit in Ethiopia. One is the Meseret Humanitarian Organization, and we've also been working with the Key Swahili Educational Group out of Ethiopia with Brother Jean-Paul Amani. So with all this being related to the Shashamani aspect of the Ethiopian World Federation, and this year we have selected Ethiopia as to be the donor country for this humanitarian response that we're working with. Brother Ron Pennycook, how can we be effective with working with your organization on a nonprofit level as well? Are there any people in the Shashamani region which could use humanitarian assistance coming from the West here as a part of the program?
Brother Yu, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you go ahead, brother?
Hold on, I'm about to sign off, okay? I'll catch up with you brothers again. Thanks, enjoy the rest of your day.
Okay, thank you, brother. We appreciate you being on the program this afternoon, this morning.
All right, peace.
Peace,
One
love,
love.
peace and love.
Thank
Okay,
you,
so
my brother.
Brother Jerome, you have any questions you'd like to chime in on? Have any questions there?
No questions, but just want to also add that we're also supporting an art school and gallery in Ethiopia called Alam Charles Gallery. So we also collecting donations for that art school, including for the Messeret orphanage.
Now tell us a little bit about your art school and what region of Ethiopia is the actual school located?
Yeah, it's located in the Gerji Terra region in Ethiopia, in Addis Ababa, and it started with a young lady named Alam Charles. She's an artist, and she also teaches um, art classes, particularly during the summertime for kids, for young people in the area, and also adults. I've actually been to the school. Well, the building. It's not a building. It's actually like a small house that they're using for the classes. But they have a plan. They even have like they actually have a land already that they picked out, but they need funding for laying down the foundations and building a new school so that they'll be able to accommodate hundreds of young people in the area. Because right now the house they're using is really small. I've been in it, and I've been and I've seen their classes, and they make the best use of it. Even though it's a really small room, maybe like
Right,
15 by, and it even spills over to the outside. It's a small like compound. It's really but sometimes they have as much as 200 young people, kids, from like small, like from like not toddlers, but like maybe 10 up. There's the photos that I've seen, and I've seen the kids there too, and the young people, teenagers, in their class, drawing, painting, and and such. So yeah, they need funding for. I actually set up a GoFundMe page for that. They need funding for building the actual new building, and also lots of supplies like paints, pencils, canvases, art supplies, for the school. Yeah.
Now, how long you yourself have been working with the organization?
Well, when I keep in contact with them, through they're on social media and through WhatsApp and Telegram, and when I go there, I call them and I visit them, and so there's a GoFundMe page. I may repost it on my Facebook again soon, and I'll probably put it up in the WhatsApp chat. And I also would like to make a quick like video introduction explaining what it's about. Been putting that off for a while. Just been really busy.
For
Uh,
sure, for sure. Are
yeah.
you going to share that with us today?
Sorry,
You're going to share that with us today, or is that something that's in the making?
it's still in the making. It's not done yet. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, for certain, the New Africa Network, along with Brother Jerome, and of course, we've been working with Brother Ron Pennycook with the Ethiopian World Federation, the Shashamani Project. We are going to be reaching out to brothers and sisters here in the United States, forming branch locations where we can collect donations going to the Meseret Humanitarian Organization, which is an organization that supports orphanage children, disenfranchised women, as well as the elderly in Ethiopia. As mentioned prior, this we're working on where the country of Ethiopia was selected for these donations to go to. And over the next few years, we have a few other countries that we're going to be lining up to work with to do the same. Right now, we have Sierra Leone, some projects that Brother Mir, the Uhuru organization, have been supporting. He's also doing some boots on the ground work in Nigeria, as well as His Royal Highness Victor Agbano of the Imo region of Nigeria has been doing some extraordinary things to help support the disenfranchised community of the Imo region in Nigeria. So yeah, brother, we give a big up to you. It'll be challenging, but we are here to work towards getting arts and supplies to the children and in your organization. So July would be sort of our pinpoint time where we'll be shipping one 20-foot sea container over to Ethiopia. So if any of our brothers and sisters out there that are listening today, they want to contribute via donating goods and products that could be very useful to the cause, you can also access the information on TV WhatsApp platform, and it'll have a whole list of goods and supplies that you can purchase from your local dollar store, or perhaps your Costco, or discount outlets that could be used to ship over. We don't ask you to go out of your way because certainly this is donations. And so we ask that you contribute to the cause of what you can afford without being a burden to your pocketbook. Brother Pennycook, we appreciate you coming on the talk show this morning, and it's getting very close to the end of the time for which we will be delivering this broadcast today. Are there any last words that you would like to address, or perhaps tell our audience before we end the program this evening? And also, if there are any people viewing or listening, would you like to ask any questions of any of the people here today about some of the projects and the activities that are taking place on the mother continent of Africa?
Yes, my brother. You have all my contact details. You have my phone number, my email, so you can share it with anyone who requests it. Now, the other question. What was the other question again?
Yeah, we had been asking, are there any last words which you'd like to share with people about the project itself that could be beneficial to our audience or listeners?
Okay, my brother. Yes. I'm listening and I hear organizations being mentioned doing good work on behalf of our communities that can be described as local operation. Local operation. In every locality where Black people exist, There are needs, and their needs need to be filled. And it would be good if Black people are the ones who fill these needs. So a lot of what I've heard from the art gallery and so on and so forth is where we are working with local projects to make a difference in the community. Okay. Now, the Ethiopian World Federation is a league for local organizations. So everyone that I hear mentioned that is not the Ethiopian World Federation presently are actually members of the Ethiopian World Federation who do not know that they are, simply because they do not know that they are Ethiopians. They get offended when they are called Ethiopians. So they are still rooted in a lack of knowledge of themselves, so that when they hear the word Ethiopian, they think it is a foreign organization. It's very few Black people around the world who recognize it for what it is. It belongs to all of us. And there is nothing else on the planet that belongs to all of us. Nothing. And we have something that belongs to all of us. So everything that is mentioned is a part of the league. All they would have to do is take up membership, and then now the rest is history. So that is where now that social order that the international organizer is responsible to achieve, and a Black American woman who is an international celebrity is ideally suited to serve in that capacity. Yes, that is what it is really all about today, getting the right people to come and understand what we have, so that all of the great works that are going on around the world on behalf of our people, by our people, can become centralized under one umbrella that each and everyone agree to, so that our consolidated voice can be put on the world stage at the highest levels of government to be respected as speaking on behalf of the Black race. No one else can say that because they have no such legal documents authorizing them to do so. So no one else can say that. Unless you are a member of the Ethiopian World Federation, saying that you represent Black people is an illusion. It's not based in law. It's not based in fact. It's an illusion. If you really want to make that a reality, then you have to have a legal document that is registered at the highest levels of government, stating that fact, that you are now organizing the Black race and you are centralizing the race under an executive council of 10 members that has a chairman who speaks and signs on behalf of the race. So everything I've heard is a part of the federation, but because we Black people still is in a controversy as to what do we call ourselves. You know, most people today call us African, but we have to investigate that word, you know. African, when did it enter into the lexion? You know, is it a modern word? How far back in history does that word go? You know, so those are legitimate discussions that we must have, and we cannot let the ignorance of our people, who are then now polarized in their limited capacity camp, deny history to embrace some kind of illusion that will perpetuate the division amongst Black people. So we have issues to resolve, not the least of which, what do we call ourselves? Because if we call ourselves by the right name, automatically we are organized and centralized. But if we do not recognize our name, we will continue to deny it and then function in an illusion. So that was my last comment. Everything I have heard is a part of the federation. We just have to learn when is it appropriate for us to become registered. It's not necessary all at once, because it will start and then build. So, but the information must be shared with the people so they can have their own discussions about these matters and then come to their conclusion that, yes, this belongs to us. We have nothing to lose by claiming our rights, and we have a lot to gain because the land is free. It's not to be bought nor sold. Nowhere else on the planet does that exist. So we are now at the front of the society for the 21st century, charged with the responsibility to teach the human family how to behave in the 21st century. Otherwise, they shall perish. And we say that without any malice. Yes, my brother.
Irie. Thank you, Brother Pennycook, for those words of wisdom, and we will certainly be in touch with you in the very near future to continue our discussion about Ethiopia, Shashamane, as well as some of the opportunities that are existing on the mother continent as we speak about it today. Brother Jerome Matthias, are there any last words from you before we end the program today?
No, not really. This was a great show. We had some great information shared by Brother Ronald Pennycook, and everyone else chimed in, also from Rasalula and yourself, Brother Eugene, and thank you, Ras Nimba, for joining us. And we should probably wrap up soon, and until next time, right? And thank you for coming and sharing with us, Mr. Pennycook. And hope to
My
see you
pleasure,
again.
my brother. My
Yeah, I
pleasure.
hope.
It's my
Yes, sir.
family. We are family, and I know that.
Yes.
So we love each other. Trust me when I tell
That's
you, we
what's
love
up.
each
That's
other.
what's up. That's for sure.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you, brothers and sisters, for tuning in this early morning. Grand rising to many of you all who are just starting to tune in. And we're basically getting to the end of the program here at the New Africa Network TV talk show. We want to give a big up to our brothers and sisters of the Zulu Nation who just recently lost a very major royal queen, Queen Mentafumbi Dlamini, Zulu Queen. She just recently passed away, and she was the wife of King Goodwill, who just recently passed away himself right before the Christmas holiday season last year, and as also one of the sons who was shot and killed in Hawaii around this time last year as well. But so we give a big up and a big shout out to the royal family and give a condolence to you from our brothers and sisters here in the United States. We also want to give a big shout out to our brothers and sisters from Haiti. This is actually Haitian Heritage Month. We want to give you much love and send much love from you guys here in the United States, brothers and sisters, for the Haitian Heritage Month. You guys enjoy the celebration. This is also Mental Health Awareness Month. So for those of you brothers and sisters who may be grappling with the effects of mental illness, we ask that you reach out to someone that you can trust, as well as discuss some of the issues that may be affecting you to keep our community safe these days. There are many things that are happening with the rise of domestic violence in our Black community. And certainly, as we are a prominent group of people, should be able to help police our communities as well as support our communities with the necessary psychological as well as medical necessities that one may require to have a healthy community. We also give a shout out to our Muslim brothers and sisters on the Eid Mubarak in the Islamic community. So we want to just send peace and blessings on the month of Ramadan. And so peace and blessings go out to our brothers and sisters. So join us next week. Hopefully we'll be able to bring in some additional people who will be discussing the topics of leveling up, and as well as discussing the African Industrial Revolution. We look forward to having Brother Akon to come on the program to discuss a little bit about the Akon City projects that are taking place both in Senegal as well as Uganda. Recently signed an agreement with the country of Uganda to build a sister city there as well, and to also discuss some of his major plans for developing the manufacturing infrastructure of Africa. So we look forward to having him on the show at some point in time over the next few weeks. So definitely, Brother Pennycook, we look forward to having you back on the show in the very near future. as well as you, Brother Jerome Matias. And we give a big shout out to Brother Raz Alula, who participated, one of the founding members of the New Africa Network. Peace and blessings also go out to the new Black Panther Party, the Economic Freedom Fighters of South Africa, who are major supporters of ours. And we look forward to having you guys back in the near future. So peace and blessings to you, brothers, and we'll look forward to seeing you very soon. One love, Black Power.
One love, my brother. One love.
Some blessings and one love.